Well, it's time to get started on the drawers themselves since I made the drawer fronts. And I happen to have a photograph here that the curator at the State Department diplomatic rooms took for me so that I could see the dovetail pattern. And they're pretty standard, I think, about a ½ inch dovetails, and they have 4 on the smaller drawers and then 5 on the larger drawers. So I'm going to space them out and match. So I milled the pine. This is ½ inch on the back, and then we got 7/16 on the sides. So here's 2 sides, and I've got them marked with the wheel markers here where I want things inside. You got the 1, 2, 3, 4 to mark as we go around the drawers. There's 2 and 3, and of course we have the front. Well, this is the layout that I have for the first drawer, as nearly as I can see it on the photograph that I have. So now we gotta saw them out and then chop them out. Well, I'm knocking out a few tails here. These are the back ones for a particular drawer. Well, I always do tails first, and so this is the sideboard with the tails cut out on it, and all I did is match the pattern on the photograph there as best I could. And on another bench, I had set these down square and then traced the lines from here onto it, and then marked out what the waist is. So the waist is between here, so you always cut on the waist side of the line there. And since these are half-blind dovetails, I can cut down into here to get a decent angle, so it makes chopping them out a lot easier. You can see how far, there's where I need to stop, and this is how far I've cut down below the line there. And chopping out the dovetails that I had just cut, so I've got a piece of the cutoff under there supporting the curve, and just a matter of chopping the waist out here. So far things are going pretty good. The grain on this particular piece is cooperating. Sometimes they're so squirrely that when you chop them out, they have a mind of their own. Well, I've completed a couple of the drawers, one in each of the chests, and as you can see here, they're pretty good and match what the Mr. Chipman had made. So, well, I've got all the drawers made now and dovetailed into the sides and back. So the only thing that remains with it is to make the bottom. So I've got to mill a lot of stock to glue together to make those are about 34 inches wide by 18 inches deep, so I need six large panels, or 8 large panels. Well, it's time to start working on the bottoms, and what I did was glue up a whole bunch of pine, half-inch pine, which is what we want to do, make the bottoms out of, and then I of course glued it together and roughed it into the size that we need for the curved fronts on the bottoms. So then over here we've got one of the drawers, and what we need to do is put a 3/16 inch deep slot along here. We're going to cut the back off at where the 3/16 slot is, and the 3/16 slot deep, rather, it's a 1/4 inch wide, is a 1/4 inch from the bottom, so you got a 1/2 inch or just under a 1/2 inch where that belongs. So that's what we're going to do. I've got the router set up with a slot cutter to do that, and the reason I use it is because of this front, because we got to put a 3/16 inch slot, which is a 1/4 inch wide, along the front and the bottom of that drawer front there. So that's the next thing we're going to do. Well, after cutting the bottom to size, I squared up the drawer and set it on the bottom here. Now I can run a trace along the bottom here, and you can see the curved front, so we got to cut that out now with the jigsaw. So now that the shape is cut off, I got to decide which is the top and which is the bottom. So this is the top, and so this is the bottom, and I got to put a chamfer all along the bottom here. And to do that, I've got a chamfer bit set up here in the router, and very noisy and dusty process. So the next thing to do is to cut the chamfer on 3 sides. So now I got the chamfer all around the outside edge, and I assembled the drawer here as best I can, and I'd cut off the back earlier, and it should fit in the slot here, I hope. It's a pretty good fit. And even slipped into the groove in the front. So we're all set. So there it is, the drawer bottom's in, and we'll move on to the next one. Eventually that'll all be glued up.